Anyway, Glenn is celebrating his 93rd birthday today. How's that?
Thank you, Bill. I don't have the glib tongue of these pastors in the Higginson family, but I would like to take about 5 minutes and make some comments to you. First of all, I'd like to thank all my Canadian relatives who worked so long and hard to make this reunion a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And leading this effort, there was a committee of Alice and Bill and Beth and Eleanor and Naomi and Percy. Thanks to each of you and all of those that have helped them. It was also awful nice of you to schedule it on my birthday. Being a citizen of the United States, I still have a lot of ties to your great country. My grandfather left this area in the early 1980s and moved to Bayfield, Wisconsin, where my father, William Raymond Higginson, was born in 1886. The family was involved in the sawmill business, and they moved to Colorado, California, and Oregon, and Washington. But then in the early 1900s, they returned back to Canada and homesteaded land up in Peace River, Alberta, which is about 100 miles north of Edmonton. You'll raise a little bit flag. My father met my mother there, and they were married, and my older brother Raymond was born there in 1921. The family moved back to the United States to Oakland, California, which is right across the bay from San Francisco. And I was born there in 1924, that is 93 years ago. In 1930, my younger brother Donald was born in Hayward, 15 miles south of Oakland. Prior to World War II in the late 1930s, my family made an annual one-month vacation to visit my maternal grandfather and uncle at in northern British Columbia, in a little place called Decker Lake, where they ran a mink farm. And it was really a great experience for a young boy to get out in the wilderness like that was then. Then in 1955, I spent a year at the Canadian Air Base at Goose Bay, Labrador. I was the operations officer for the American side of the base, and among my duties were flight safety and snow removal. And I was responsible to keep the runways and the parking ramps clear, and that was a year we had 280 inches of snow. Then flying in the 1950s wasn't as safe as it is today. And so when I arrived in December of 1954, the first thing they did was schedule me for a week of Arctic survival school. They gave me snowshoes, a parka, a bedroll, a half a parachute to make a teepee out of, and 1 day's ration. Took us out, dumped us 40 miles from the air base on 10 feet of snow, and we survived for a week with a gill net for catching trout and trapping ptarmigans. The temperature dropped to 40 degrees below zero while we were out there, so you see why I live in the desert now. Then in 2002, my wife and I left Tucson, Arizona, traveled up to Vancouver, over to Victoria, and drove up Vancouver Island to Prince Rupert, and come down through the center of British Columbia and visited relatives on my mother's side at Decker Lake and Burn Lake, Vanderhoof, Prince George, and Kamloops. So we have a lot of ties to you Canadians, so we love you. You know, I always thought that birthday parties should be for children. But when I reached 80, I got approached my second childhood. I decided I'd have a birthday party every 10 years. So in 1990, I had a birthday party. One of my friends come up to me and he says, "Gee, Glenn, you don't look 90. I said, "Oh, well, thank you, that's very nice." But he says, "I can remember when you did." Once you reach the ripe old age of 93, people want to know how you got there. And I give it a lot of thought and come up with a lot of rules that I've followed during my lifetime. I'll only bore you with two of them. One regards good health, the other regards longevity. As far as good health goes, you better be very careful when you pick your parents, because those genes are so important. And I have so many good Higginson genes at me. And here I am at 93, no pain, take no medicine, stay as far away from doctors as I can get, play golf once a week, and walk my dog every morning. The most important one about longevity, you get married young and you stay married. You may not live any longer, but it sure as heck gonna seem like it. I'd like to introduce you to my family members who are with me tonight. Would you stand up, please? My son, Mike, from Jerome, Arizona. From Houston, Texas. My grandson, Scott, and Marcy from Puma, Alabama. My oldest brother's daughter, Lynn, from Ukiah, California. And two of my younger brother's daughters, Susan and her husband, Gary, from Salt Lake City. And Matt from Montana. Thank you all for coming to my party, and I'll now turn over to my daughter to say a few words about my character. Just remember this, she's very biased, and no, I don't walk on water. Thank you.